procurement, legislation, and policies. And we will have an opportunity to ask about that, so that I'll put your minds to rest on that. One other thing again that I need to put your mind to rest is the issue of our relationship linked with government. How do we make government to implement the communicates our concerns? I will say, I don't know if anybody there else will answer it, but I just want to preempt the answer to say that what we are doing now is one way to make government implement. We have to keep talking until it is done. By the special grace of God, again, tomorrow we are going to have the Vice President to come in here. And even if he's not coming, he's going to send a representative. And by the time we articulate all these points, I'm sure that even if nothing is done now, there will be documentation. We are advocating, we have been advocating for it, and as many professional bodies as possible. If we keep making the noise, I think that one day there's no way we can go in and shoot government people are saying you must do this, but we have to keep making the noise, and that is what we're doing here. So by the grace of God, let's wait for the president, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I will also seek your indulgence to also wait for my opening address tomorrow, because I'm advocating already for a construction industry board council, and I'm sure that the Vice President will not go back as if we did not make any request
from the council.
And if he does not,
we are feeding into it.
We are praying and hoping,
and that's what you said,
that after we articulate all the reasons why the construction industry should be made an effective stimulant, and we request for that board that they will see reason with us. So thank you. I want to put that matter to rest so that we don't keep overheating it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But I can hear what you are saying. You can hear what I'm saying. One plus.
Now, I would like the President of Presidents to take up. You've got some of the questions.
Thank you very much. All those questions. First and foremost, the first speaker talked about the professional bodies being an endangered species, and cited some that seems to be like the pride of the system, specifically NBA and NET. But let me take you from the point of the way our system operates. If you look at the functionality of maybe the law in this country, which is an arm of government of its own, the NBA belongs to that arm alone. And even from our constitution, you realize that is the only profession presently in this country that does not have people coming from elsewhere to practice it in this country. You must be based here. I'm sure if you look in for relevance of the professional bodies and professional associations. This is one major area. With regards to the journalists, yes, NJ is powerful, but all of us have been made journalists by one way or the other. The media now, through the social media, virtually everybody is communicating, and that gives some strength in terms of communication. So the strength of journalists is further assimilated by our own rules in factual or rumored information to people. That is another thing that has brought so many people into the loop of communication is very important. Communication is very key. Now, with regards to, in terms of the construction, the attitude, I think the point here is that the professional attitude have to change. For anybody that have gone into the profession, even if you did not like the profession before you went in, but I'm sure for you to remain there, you must have developed the instinct that this is where you belong. And so our attitude must change to love ourselves, to love the professions, and do what the forefathers for the professions have done that is right. The one that is not right, we see how we can amend it to make it better. This is where the issue of ethics and professionalism comes in. If we do not practice by the ethics as it were, because for any person, be it in the construction industry, be it in the medical industry where I belong, be it in the financial industry, whoever you are dealing with wants to see, if it's a genuine person, wants you to see that you do the right thing. That is the point. And if you're not doing the right thing, you may not get the right thing that you want from that particular person. So I think the key thing here is that as professionals, we must develop and go back into our ethics, either as an association, but make sure that through our regulatory bodies, which are set up by input from us. Now, that takes me to the aspect of regulations or bodies that we are talking about. I think what has happened over time is that for any assembly that comes, every legislator wants to make a mark by saying he sponsors also bill, or he was a co-sponsor to this. And that is why we have so many laws that are in existence, some of which, until you run into a problem, you don't even know they even existed. The laws are passed, but they are not implemented. Until there's a problem, and somebody does his work and say there is this law that is existing. So until we realize that it is not making the too many laws that is a problem, but applying and implementing the ones that are existing, and where there are flaws in them, see how those ones can be amended and corrected for better productivity. That is the only way that we'll be able. It doesn't tick me when somebody says, I sponsored 50 bills in this assembly or that or that. How much of those things are being implemented? And this is where professionalism comes in. Let us not toy the way of politics or politicians and say, look, these things must go. Somebody made a very valid provision there. If you have a regulatory body that brings all the industry in a particular field together to look at areas that needs to be addressed, and those things are built into an entity, it makes more point. Because when you go into intrigues, and that's why I talk about similarity and differences, for all the laws that you see, take all the professions, all of them, you will find out a lot of conflicting points if you must go by the books. But if we're able to look at those conflicting points and say, look, since it's already there, we must make amend with this conflicting point to see that we project further. If we do not do that, definitely that will continue to bring us down, and the times is counting. The years are going by. And year in, year out, we keep on complaining about the same thing. The issue about communicate or implementation when decisions like this are taken. The president, NIQS, has talked about it. We keep on having to make cases. As of today, I think over the past 1 year, if nothing, I have participated in about 20 professional bodies activities. That is in addition to their own primary activities. APBN is appearing in those activities, and that is a way of sending a message across. I tell the current government, before they came on, they invited APBN to make a position paper before the election. And APBN was well there, presented a paper through the president then. And after that, we've made a lot of inroads to see how we can get along with them. But that has not really happened. That is not to say that we'll give up, we'll continue trying. I know through some agencies of government, APBN has been invited for one thing or the other. For instance, the Presidential Action Committee Against Corruption, and then through the EFCC. Just last week, they invited APBN to coordinate 3 member bodies who are mainly within the construction industries.
And I asked them, why are we not putting NIQS in this series of 10? They said, no, that is going to be in phase. They don't want to bring all of us at the same time. Because I said, if you are bringing construction industries, NIQS needed to be there. So they have actually listed this 10. So it was more of from the construction industry and the finance sector in that particular interaction we had with the acting chairman of EFCC. You see, these are evidence that to a certain level, it may not be as rapid as we want it, but to a certain level, the system is beginning to realize there is need to have relationship with these bodies who ordinarily are there for the overall progress of our nation. Now, so again, the issue of square peg in square hole. Now, that again, another deficiency in our constitution. I think it is only in the Ministry of Justice that you have that provision. Any other one that you see, maybe person from that profession is heading the ministry. It is out of serious discussion or protestation, not because it's in the constitution. The constitution does not make any provision for, look, this one should be this profession, except for that Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Every other thing is open for the president or the governor to appoint whoever he wants to appoint. These are anomalies that if we must really do the things right, this constitution needs to be reviewed. This constitution needs to be amended. And that way we'll be able to see that professionals really come in. Again, that takes me to one point. We have professionals in position. How much have they showed their professionalism or related with their professions? This is another cross of matter. Now, it is until the professional, it's not good enough to say, you professionals, go be a politician, go and contest and win. When you win, what added value did you add to the profession or professionalism in the country? Or your own primary profession to even start with? Most times they go there, it's a different ball game altogether. This is not good if we must grow the professions and professionals in this country. Finally, with regards to the issue about the budget, as APBN, we have repeatedly made cases about this budget, and so we are happy the budget has been presented now, but I'm afraid whether the National Assembly will be able to really work on it and get it passed so that by January 1st, they say the new budget is in place. But we're already worried because the budget that is outgoing has not been inflated to 50%. And now you have a budget that is higher than that. So, again, you asked, what is the problem? Are professionals really working the talk? Are professionals really involved in this development? Or they are developed for purposes of giving Nigerians what they want to hear, not what they needed to see and what they should see. So I thank you all for all the contributions, and I believe a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step, and we are moving on. Let us not get tired, and particularly for the elders that have led the various associations, and for the upcoming one, you must come in with vigor to see that professions and professionalism are key components of the activities of Nigeria. That is the way we can institute so many things that will make our economy, our infrastructure grow. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank colleagues for raising a lot of issues. Some of the issues that Dr. Omede has addressed, I will not touch on them. I will talk on specifics that have not been addressed. A colleague asked a question that if the Chinese have succeeded, what have we put in place to make sure that we succeed at them? He talked about the issue of laws relating to corruption, the death punishment, and population control. Now, Nigeria is a peculiar country. We have our specific peculiarities. The process of changing laws starts with the national and state houses of assembly. And until and unless you have a change in political leadership that is responsive, you may not have such changes. So the challenge lies with me and all of us. and particularly the professional bodies. I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the professional bodies to encourage as much as possible their members to go into politics. You can make every single policy relating to any sector. If the political leadership is not right, you can't do anything. So please and please, as much as possible, let us try to contest electable positions, particularly lawmaking, because it is at the lawmaking point that you can do any institutional change and bring the desired in the country. Without lawmaking, we cannot be able to make progress. But even without that, we can still put in place a process and try to make a difference. Because sitting quiet and saying that we will not do anything until we are able to reach the ideal, then certainly is a defeatist strategy. Number two, somebody raised a question as to the statement I made that even if the price of oil is $200, that may not lead to any sustainable development. Yes, I stand by that statement, because realistically, 2014 budget, we are budgeting $24 billion. The Angolan economy is less than half of our population is budgeting $44 billion. Our spending per capita in health and education at federal level, based on 2017 budget calculation with 180 million people, is 3,500 and 1,800 naira respectively. This is flabbergasting and unrealistic. We have a gap. We don't have the resources. And that even if the price of oil is selling for $200, based on existing benchmark of $45 per barrel, the highest we could budget at federal level is $100 billion. $100 billion for 180 million people is so insignificant. So how do we get additional resources to complement the little that government is spending? Is one, by promoting non-oil sector, which is a responsibility for all of us, myself and you, but by also instituting through massive pressure, continued communication, continued talking, continued advocacy of a review in the Public-Private Partnership Act and policy that will make it attractive for others to come and invest in Nigeria, and for us to enter into partnership with government at all levels to make sure that professional quantity surveyors are part of the cost capital project, so that when outsiders see the extent to which we have optimally utilized our resources or put structure optimal utilization of our resources and having realistic costing of our capital projects, they will now be comfortable to bring in their money to partner with us toward achieving that success. But even if the price of that $200, it cannot be able to achieve much. Number three, somebody is talking about promotion of planning, implementation, and appraisal. And I also want to use this opportunity to appeal to the Association of Professional Bodies of a memorandum of understanding to the new SGF on how we can be able to bring about synchronization in government policy framework so that we have a seamless coordination between the various sectors toward overall national development. I think the leadership of the professional bodies and the NIQS should be able to take a lead in this aspect. And somebody talked about local content development, specifically for the construction industry. You see, this is also require all the professionals in the construction industry to speak with one voice, to articulate a new policy direction or law within the context of their requirements so that this can be done. Because, for example, if you want to construct, for example, 10,000 housing units in Abuja, you are the professionals, you know better than me. A lot of the components that we require, besides cement, sand, and maybe gravels, is imported. Now, how do we develop various sector-specific policies within the construction industry that will lead to the development and local production of all that is required for the construction industry to have realistic local content value addition? And this is also another challenge to us as professionals, beyond this meeting to see how we can organize a forum, work as a team, develop the policy and institutional framework, and push it to the government and keep on advocating so that the right things can be done towards retaining much of what is spent by government in the construction industry within the Nigerian economy, not outside the Nigerian economy. And the last thing that I want to talk is this issue of collaboration and the professionals. Honestly, I am really gladdened by the steps taken so far towards professional collaboration and synergy, but much more is required. Believe me sincerely, if you work as a team, as professionals, there is no government at federal or state level that will relegate you. But beyond working as a team, you must have a very coherent communication strategy to be able to sensitize the public on what is required logically. For example, take any specific federal or state government project, analyze its costing, make an advocacy, or do a short clip, indicate the differences in the costing, just like the chairman has said relating to National Theatre, which was constructed at 24 million, that could have been constructed at 8 million shorter. Single federal state government project that you can analyze now that could have...
Revolution in Britain was said to have taken place because the capitalists threw away the aristocrats. You know, from the fall of Rome and the coming of the aristocratic class and the feudal class and so on and so forth, that ruled England with a king, until when the mercantilist class, those who were doing trading, the imperialism, when they came to Africa and made a lot of money, and they then displaced the feudal class and forced the king to put in place a parliament. Mind you, that is why today that parliament is called House of Commons, because they had to have a way to take over power and put in place a government. So whereas prior to them, you had an aristocratic class, a feudal class. So you have a king who will send the Prince of Wales to Scotland, the Prince of this to go and rule that. The business community, the manufacturing class took over power from them and established government. It is therefore not an accident that that class of people that formed the government, taking over power from the aristocrats, put in place policies consistent with their mode of accumulation, with their mode of making money. They promote, a class will promote interests consistent with those of its own. That's why they will make sure, since government is run from their taxes, they will make sure there's accountability, and a like quantity surveying will thrive, because there you mess up with public funds, there you are gone. That is why they will build roads, because they are industrialists in government, not traders in government. A class promotes interests consistent with those of its own way of making its own money, its power structures, and so on and so forth. The sad thing today is that our ruling class, their source of power is not production. We're a consuming, trading nation. Sorry to say, some even steal our money. That is how they make their money. When Madam and I are coming together to produce something, we will go and hire the best people. But when we are sharing, when there's a national cake, maybe we are drinking Gary, if I spit inside, Madam will remove her hands. We have an anti-intellectual environment pervading our economic climate. The ruling class today, professionals are surplus to them. We're not a producing nation, we're a sharing nation. Therefore, they don't want you there in estimating for your capital projects. They don't want you overseeing them. My contribution is academic. Mind you, I came here on the platform of construction economics. It is to appeal to those of you who are interested in political economy of procurement. Why we are all driven away from all the procurement, it is not because we are not important. It is the political economy of procurement in Nigeria, the interest of which does not accommodate we who watch over costs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we've had a lot, and always there will be vested interest, because every day the Council of State meets, and then so much contracts have been awarded. The road to that place, so many billions. If you ask engineers, were you people involved in this thing? You might find that they were not involved. So what do we fight ourselves for? Why can't we come together and make life a little more difficult for those people so that it's not convenient for them to be doing what they are doing? Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom does not get involved in award of contracts. You are awarding contracts for roads and all that. Those have been confined to establish systems of operation. The government may be interested if it involves patent for that country. The country may be interested. If it is a military contract, they may be interested. If it is one that is involved with the export guarantee scheme of Her Majesty's government, yes. But the normal run of contracts like roads, bridges, and all that, Her Majesty's government will not be deciding on that. Yet in Nigeria, government seems to be about the award of contracts. And we have always known anytime there is a change of government, all contracts are revoked and all that and all that. Then people start running again because even the government seems to base its own relevance in the ability to award contracts. So today we are very much behind. I know there was a time, for instance, something as simple as form of contract. We do not really have a form of contract which is indigenous to Nigeria as of today. We're always talking of the Joint Contracts Tribunal of the United Kingdom, which comprises a number of people. There was a time, and there was goodwill, when a number of us got together and said we must have a standard form of contract for use for construction industry in Nigeria. The engineers came, the architects came, the builders came, quantity surveyors came. I know I was there on the side of quantity surveyor with Mr. Okereke Oyeri, a past president of our institute, with Kofo Kukuola, the best president we never had. We were involved for about a period of 3 years. We really went through, and then we agreed everything was there. And then the thing faltered on a very simple matter. Somebody said, it must be architect. You can't say architect or superintending officer. They don't want any other person except architect to be the person. And the whole thing was failed just because of a simple like that. Ego. Somebody saying, we must be and all that, which does not serve the best interests of this country. We really have a problem, and as I said earlier, this collaboration is important. We have, after Latham, he talked of yes, then they eventually came to the construction board. The construction board comprises all, the construction industry and everything. So it's good that we are talking of construction industry now. We should collaborate, not only with engineers, architects, builders, but also with FOSI, as I said, Federation of Construction Industry. I thank all of you for your patience. Quite a large number of you here. I am happy that so many people are benefiting from the knowledge which has been delivered here today. I really appreciate these young men on the same side of the table with me here. I thank you very much for decanting so much knowledge to our people. Very specific information provided on which we can move forward. Your passionate interest in the affairs of this country and your belief in the capability of the quantity surveying profession to deliver change to the construction industry. And I pray that God will answer our prayers and we'll be able to achieve a situation where we look back and say we make such contributions to the development of the construction industry. What is left is for me now to surrender to Madam President, who appointed me. I really appreciate, Madam President, that you appointed me to undertake this assignment. Madam President has been an exceptionally great leader of the Institute, and we stumbled, and then eventually it now fell on the of a lady to lead us. Just after another eminent Nigerian, he came in a little later. I hope they will introduce him. He handed over to a lady. We didn't know exactly where we were going to. Nigeria is not a place where women are so much respected. They are respected. But in fact, in most places, women always get the back seat. Until I left the United Kingdom in 1974, it was about the time I left that women were first admitted to the stock exchange, wearing striped suits and all. Over there, they have had to fight for everything they got. The suffragettes were those who fought to ensure that they got the vote. The vote was not automatic to them. But today now, we have had the first lady president, and it has been a unique blessing for us. And somebody was whispering before me today that the Constitution was our make. And when we say that there is no repetition, if we could have done anything about the Constitution, so that this lady, we have to do another 2 years. I said, it would be wonderful. But I wonder whether it's amazing that she is still standing. And the principal officers who worked with her, I've seen that some of them are already sagging. They couldn't follow the pace at which she was driving them. And I worried a bit about Dr. Iyote. I said, this man, how come that he said, the man says his wife is probably busier than President Buhari. He has accepted his own. So thank you, Madam President, for granting me this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, we can now go and join the other ranks.
If you don't mind, sir, let's Mr. President.
Pardon?
Yeah, Madam President.
Okay.
Let's
okay, you want that to take
No, she is the only lady so far for NIT.
Yes.
And if I have a way of changing the Constitution a lot, I could have changed.
Well, we can't get
but we have to put constitutionality in our house.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Mike.
Okay.
Can we put our hands together for them? Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Can we please appreciate them once again? Let's also appreciate the chairman, our own very distinguished past president of the Institute and past president of the board, Mr. Samson Emiowele. Let us appreciate him for effective coordination as the chairman. Thank you so much. We are grateful. We are really, really very grateful. Madam President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while the session was going on, we had entering into the hall our own immediate past president of the Nigerian Institute of Surveyors, who currently is the president of the Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria, Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Malam QS Muritala Aliyu Mutawale Gombe, the former Minister of Power and Steel, who is here with us.
Sorry. I'm particularly pleased to be the one.
Hello.
And I'm sure this is home for you, even though you are not quantity surveyor. He's one now. I missed most of the talks, but I gained everything that I lost through the question and answers. So we sincerely appreciate you on behalf of Madam President and the entire membership of the NIQS and the Conservation family. We want to sincerely thank you, and we pray and hope that this will strengthen the whole professional bodies together for the benefit of our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you. Let's put our hands together for them. Thank you. All right, with this, we've practically come to the end of the sessions, and we will need to explain how we will go for the parallel session, which will be coming next, and we need to be very snappy with that so that we can also take our lunch as we go along today. We have 3 halls, and I will yield the mic to the Secretary for Professional Development, Mr. Debo Inle, to please step forward to come and give details. Thank you so much.
Please, can we put our hands together for the Secretary, Marketing and Corporate Affairs? A very wonderful job that he has done. Please, immediately after now, we'll have 15 minutes break. 15 minutes break, and that time is for us to go to the respective halls for the parallel sessions. I'm going to read out the sub-themes that will be taken in each parallel session. We do apologize that you don't have the hard copy of the program, but we are working on that. Yes, they are working on it. So as I read them out, they will also be projecting them on the screen for us, but please kindly pay attention. For the parallel sessions, this hall is Hall A. Where we are now is Hall A, and then the Hall B is directly opposite this hall, or what they call the banquet hall, which is just behind me over there. And then Hall C is the basement hall. You will see directional signs in the main lobby. Once you go out, you will see directional signs directing you to the basement hall. That will be Hall C. In Hall A, we will be, the session facilitator for Hall A is QS Olayemi Shonubi. Please, can you stand up for recognition? QS Olayemi Shonubi. He will be the one facilitating this session here. And then in Hall B, the facilitator is QS Dr. Amuda Yusuf Ganiu. Please, can you stand up for recognition? And then in Hall C, the facilitator is QS Ruya Fadasin. Is also here for recognition. So please, they will be the ones in the different halls to facilitate the sessions. In Hall A, we'll be taking 2 sub-themes. We are going to take them together because of our time. So the first sub-theme is the impact of marketing management on the construction industry. 3 papers will be taken under that. The first one is Essentials of Marketing in a Professional Organization in Nigeria, a case study of Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors. The second paper is an assessment on the use of marketing strategies in the Nigerian construction industry, a case study of North, West, and North Central Nigeria. And the third paper under that sub-theme is Consumers' Participation in the Marketing of Quantity Surveyors Professional Services, whereas we have 1 paper under the last sub-theme in this Hall A, under the sub-theme Benchmarking the Nigerian Construction Industry, a review of other nations' experiences. And the paper is titled Benchmarking the Nigerian Construction Industry, a Review of Other Nations' Experiences. In Hall B, we will be taking the sub-themes: essential policies, regulations, and legislation for improved efficiency of the construction industry. And the paper that will be taken there is low-cost housing policies and squatter struggles in Nigeria, the Malaysian experience. And then the second sub-theme that will be taken in Hall B is industry collaboration, strategic partnerships, and alliances. We have two papers that will be taken under that sub-theme. The first one is strategic alliance among construction professionals, imperative for sustainable infrastructural development in Nigeria, a discourse. And then the second paper is titled Industry Collaboration Through Strategic Alliances. Those three papers will be taken in Hall B. Whereas in Hall C, that is the basement hall, we'll be taking two sub-themes equally. And the first paper that will be taken there, or the first sub-theme, is occupational safety, health, and workplace environment. The first paper under that sub-theme is fostering safety on building construction sites, the roles of stakeholders. And the second paper is occupational safety, health, and workplace environment. The second sub-theme that will be taken in Hall C, that's the basement hall, is the construction industry and modernization and applying change concepts. The first paper is titled Change Management for Sustainability of Project Delivery in the Nigerian Construction Industry. And the second paper, which will be the last for that hall, is titled Digitization, Taking the Construction Industry to the Next Level. Please, like I said, brief recap. We have 15 minutes break to please stretch our legs, try and locate the halls, and get settled down. The session facilitators will be there to receive us. All our resource persons are already on ground. I wish you all a wonderful time during this parallel session. Thank you very much.